After a blistering hot day, a warm night, and some of the competitors are dealing with the hot temperatures out here at the Magnaflow Exhaust River Days Rumble. One of them being Steve Casebolt as he's pulled in. Temperature is extremely high for that power plant. Keep in mind these things cost $40,000 to $50,000. And another guy in here struggling with the heat is a man that started off the race on the pole.
Yeah, that's the 12 there of Doug Drown. And when you talk about these engines, they want to run that peak performance between about 200, 220 degrees, water temp that is. You can see these guys trying to cool it down, and Drown taking his helmet off. So his night could be done, but these things get real hot. They don't perform, and then of course you can blow one up as well.
So a tough night for some of these guys. Very warm out here, as we talked about before, all day long and this evening. A bit dusty out here as well for this race as we take a look at Steve Francis. And Steve Francis, of course, a champion at the highest level of this sport, is always a tough competitor. He's pretty much won everything he can win inside of a dirt late model. He's always wanted to be a race car driver.
I was one of them kids in first, second, third grade when all the other ones want to be policemen, doctors, you know, whatever. I want to be a race car driver, and been very, very fortunate to make a good living doing, you know, kind of exactly what I wanted to do all my life. Really, my whole career has been based around the late models. You know, we've been fortunate. We've won the world. We've won the Dirt Track World Championship. We've won all those events. There's about 6 crown jewel events, and, you know, naturally you want to win every race you go to, but you want to win those 6 crown jewels. I think we've won 3 or 4 of them throughout our career. They're still the top list in the show me and the dream that we haven't got. You know, our sport's still healthy. There's still a ton of dirt late models out there, and, you know, there's probably 40-some race cars here tonight. So, you know, I think that's about our average car count this year has been about 40 cars with the Lucas Oil Series. My wife is fortunate enough to travel with me a lot right now through, you know, through this time of the year and stuff. Her parents own a racetrack. She's fortunate enough to travel a lot. I actually am an honorary Kentucky Colonel. It's an honor bestowed by the governor to people that have achieved certain things throughout the state. You know, a lot of stuff like this. It's an honorary thing, so it just kind of is always stuck.
Great guy. I mean, it's so successful. We talked about it. That's why it's such a surprise that we haven't seen him pick up a win yet this season, because, I mean, he's a tough guy to beat. Anytime he shows up, he is a threat to win, and it's great to have him out here chasing points with us this season.
All right, we get set for the Delaware double file restart. Scott James out in front all by himself. He's got Scott Blomqvist, who got into his left rear there just a little bit, and Dale McDowell right behind him. So now Brad Neat feeding it well. 3, almost 4 wide off turn 2. So it's James Blomqvist and now Brad Neat, your top 3.
Yeah, Brad Neat, I mean, right up there into Dale McDowell. Dale McDowell over the cushion, had to get out of the throttle, lost a few positions on that restart.
Jared Land is currently 8th. No one's into the back bumper there of Steve Francis, I believe, and he has worked his way up from 14th as we go back up front, the battle for the lead.
Blomqvist roaring to the front, hoping he can pick up his 2nd win at this racetrack this season. Of course, Scott James up there working that cushion, and you can see that cushion is pretty rough right now.
Scott James has led all of the laps so far here tonight. He had 1 lap led prior to this event. Getting a little treacherous up on top as he continues to lead by about a foot at the stride.
This is a beauty of dirt late model racing right here. 1 high, 1 low, side by side for 3 laps in a row, and it's still not over. Don O'Neill all over the back of Jimmy Owens, and keyword back of Jimmy Owens, as Owens is still coming hard. Let's get it down to Kelly.
Well, Doug, you are our pole sitter here tonight. It looks like the guys were trying to cool down your engine. What happened out there?
Yeah, the cushion there in 1 and 2 is just, you're using everything you got, and we thought we had it. Should have put a new radiator in beforehand, and we didn't. We just cleaned the one out we had in, and now obviously hindsight, I wish we would have went ahead and took it out, because it definitely, thought we had a decent car, but it obviously top 10 anyway. It would have been a nice finish for us with the guys, so maybe tomorrow night we'll do a little bit better, so we know what not to do tonight.
And of course, Doug making reference to the Hillbilly 100 that will happen here tomorrow evening. Everybody looking forward to that one as well. $25,000 up for the winner. And again, this battle for the lead continues on between Scott James and Scott Blomqvist. Exactly what Scott James needs. Maybe he'll pick up the spot to make a full run at the season a year from now. All right, the fans having a great time here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And there's a look at Scott James, your leader here at the Magnaflow Exhaust River Days Rumble, presented by Rockstar Energy Drink. Steve Francis battling back there, is inside of the top 10, but Kelly Snyder, how about Scott James? He's had a rough, hot day.
Well, guys, Scott James seems to be running on pure adrenaline right now. As of yesterday at 3 a.m., he found out that he blew his crank in his motor and he needed to get a new one. The only person to have one was a guy in Mississippi, so he drove 16 hours straight, 8 hours there to pick it up, 8 hours to bring it back. He put in the motor at 10:30 last night, and he said, guys, I hope it works. I'm extremely exhausted, but I'm going to try to pull off a win here in Ohio.
So far, it's paying dividends. If he can stay in front of that 0 car, it's a solid night. He might find himself picking up $10,000. That'll help offset some of that trip.
Back into the top 5, we mentioned Jimmy Owens started deep, and he is running these guys down, currently running in that 3rd spot with 10 laps to go. And if we can catch a caution, he may have something for these top 2 as they still go side by side. Bloomquist taking a peek to the inside, and Scott James has pretty much been glued to the top part of the racetrack.
And it's working out for him, no doubt about it. Scott James doing a great job. These guys have been going at it better part of 7 laps now. I mean, literally side by side, the fans being treated to a great show for the lead here.
You can see Bloomquist working that low part of the racetrack. You have to be very patient, drive the car a lot different than you do when you got your elbows up on the top shelf. Try and get some of that moisture, stay off of those tractor tires because they will bite you.
And if Bloomquist can pick up the win here as they go by a car that was broken on the bottom of the track, it would be win number 11 on the season for the 0 car, and that will bring out the caution flag. Ray Cook in trouble. Looks like he might have a flat tire. We'll get these guys grouped back up and him off to the pits. Yeah, and while you're here, you might as well pick up some official souvenirs. Get them autographed as well. We'll be right back with the conclusion of this race. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Magnaflow Exhaust River Days Rumble, presented by Rockstar Energy Drink. There's a look at R.J. Conley, and behind him, Scott Bloomquist down there on the bottom of the track. When you come here to Portsmouth Raceway Park, you know, all these tracks have their local heroes, and Dave Argerbright, the Conleys are one of them.
When you arrive at Portsmouth Raceway Park, one of the first families you've got to deal with is the Conley family, led by Delmas, 46 years of racing here at Portsmouth Raceway Park.
When I first started racing, I worked on a farm, my father-in-law's farm, and we certainly didn't have a lot of money, but one thing we did do, when I went racing, my family went with me.
There's always an ongoing debate on exact numbers, but Delmas knows one thing for sure, how many races he's won.
542. Yeah. Well, you know, there's guys who won a lot more than that, but you know, I've raced a long time. I don't care where you go. These guys, if they're racing Lucas Oils, they're the best of the best. And if you can beat them, you know, it certainly it gives you some pride. And there's been times that I've beat the best, but probably there's more times they beat me. But once again, we're not full-time racers. We're just weekend warriors. And these guys are good. And boy, they don't leave nothing unturned. That's for sure.
Some great words from Delmas, of course, and RJ out there carrying on the family name here at Portsmouth Raceway Park, hanging out here with some of the big ones. And you know what? You qualified for the show. That alone speaks volumes for the talent of that team.
Back underway, it's Scott James, Scott Bloomquist, and yeah, you guessed it, Jimmy Owens running 3rd. Dale McDowell out to the inside of Brad Neat as the caution comes back out.
What an impressive run by Jimmy Owens. Looks like Ben Adkins is going to bring out the caution this time, but Jimmy Owens starting 22nd, and Scott Bloomquist has got to be thinking, man, can I just get a break here? What do I got to do to beat this guy?
Well, we talked about the seesaw battle between Owens and Bloomquist all season long, with that saw kind of leaning towards the 20 car, but definitely the top 2 in the chase for the title so far in 2011.
Well, once again, we'll get the B7 push out of the way here, and these guys regroup. See if we can re-rack them and finish up the end of this race. Stay with us. Ain't right up the flat.